All right. It is technically a Victory Friday. Can we call it that?
It is a Friday, and the Lions are coming off a win, correct?
All right.
Yes.
Welcome to the News 10 Plus Digital Desk. Instead of Tim, because he is busy, also he doesn't want to talk to me following a Lions win, I am now joined by Joey Ellis from News 10 Sports. How are you? I know you said you were tired.
I'm already tired. The day's just started, but we got a long day ahead of us, as you know, with high school football.
High
and
school
stuff,
football.
so
Football doesn't stop.
never stop.
And I know a lot of people were probably up watching the Lions Chiefs game because we had it here on WILX
We
too.
did. It was a late night for us.
It was a
but
late
was
night
fun.
and it was worth it. What are your initial thoughts on the game now that it's over?
It's a win to start the season against obviously the reigning Super Bowl champs, so you're not going to discredit that. And I know Kansas City was a bit shorthanded. No Chris Jones, no Travis Kelce. I think if either of those two guys play, especially Kelsey, the result's probably a little bit different.
A little bit different or significantly different?
I think maybe a little.
Okay.
I mean, if they had Kelsey back, I think offensively they're a very tough team to stop, as Detroit knows. But, I mean, taking away the Kansas City aspect and just looking at what Detroit did, it's a really good win for a lot of different reasons. I was saying it seems like the Lions teams of old would certainly 10 out of 10 lose that game and find a way to lose that game. And it kind of felt that way initially when Kansas City was driving. Although we were talking about it in there that it didn't make sense going for it if you're Kansas City on that long fourth down when you had 3 timeouts, you had the 2-minute warning. And Detroit really wasn't doing a whole lot offensively as well in that situation. But it's a big win. It's a big momentum boosting win, but it's also just one game
It
in
is.
a 17-game season. And if there's anybody who knows that you can't look ahead, it's Lions fans. But it was a big win, and they'll have to try to back it up now at home in a place that's going to be absolutely rocking 10,
Very.
12 days from now.
So one thing that we were kind of talking about here in the newsroom, did the Lions win or did they find a way to not lose?
Yeah, I never liked that question. They won the game.
Okay.
I mean, they won the game. But yes, you're right. They found a way to not give it up, which again, as I said, it's 10 times out of 10. In previous years, they probably would find a way to lose that game.
Even last year.
Even last year.
Yeah.
But, I mean, coming out of there with a win against the best player in football, I know he didn't have a whole lot to work with. They had some bad drops that I'm sure he's losing sleep over still. Patrick Mahomes, that is. But they won the game. It was a kind of, on the heels of a huge expectation off season where, expectations are through the roof for Detroit.
Very.
Some warranted, obviously, but they went out there, played probably a B plus football game, especially offensively, and they found a way to win the football game. So
Jared Goff did say that they did not play great football last night.
especially on the offensive side, they could have been a lot better. They didn't really run the ball all too well, though David Montgomery had the big touchdown run, which was the game-winning touchdown run, and then obviously salts it away with the first down. Jahmyr Gibbs looked good as the rookie, catching the ball and running the ball, and obviously Brian Branch, the rookie defensive back, who had the big pick six.
What about the trick play?
The punt?
Yeah,
Loved
that
it.
everybody's talking
Fred
about.
hates it.
Fred hates it?
As you can
Okay.
imagine. I mean, it's a risky play. It's early on in the game. You're on your own, 17 or 20-yard line.
17.
But you need 2 yards, and Dan Campbell did it all last year. He said if we think we can get the yardage, it's just another down. It's fourth down, yes, but it's another chance to move the sticks and keep it going. I loved it. I mean, I thought they knew they had to send a message early, and they ended up scoring on it too. And it was a big kind of jump start for what they, believe they could do in Arrowhead.
So you said it sends a message. What does this win, whether big or small, say to the rest of the league?
That you can't take this team lightly. I mean, they have a different, I think, mindset and belief this year, and I mean that in of itself is a big momentum and confidence boost. Hello there, Ann.
Hi, Ann.
But
It's okay. She's so distracted. It's okay.
she's locked in. But I think you just can't take this team lightly more than anything. In the most Detroit of possible ways, they could go out and lose the next 6 games because that's what we've been accustomed to seeing from them. But I think it does show that, hey, we went in there, the toughest place to play in football. We came away with a win. That's kind of the message I'm sure that's coming out of the locker room. And they believe they could go in there and win that game. So I don't think it's too big or too small. It's just kind of they expected to win, and they actually went out and did it this year, which is a shocking surprise from years past.
I think I could play a little bit of this. Oh, I thought Fred was going to come over here and say something about the play, but it's okay. A lot of fans at Detroit fans at Arrowhead Stadium too. That was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, not surprised.
Intimidating venue to go
not
in as
surprised
somebody.
either. I mean, that fan base is starving for any kind of success, and they're as loyal as they come. And major sports. So it's
So
a good crowd there.
We're 10 days away from the next game, though, so we got a long
It's gonna be a long
time.
10 days. It'll be a good time, though, to get healthy. Taylor Decker, the offensive tackle, apparently was seen leaving the game in a boot, so that'll be something to monitor and see how his health is. But I figured, 10 days gives him plenty of time to try to rehab and get healthy. Because that's the biggest thing, is they came out of that game largely healthy, whereas Kansas City didn't even start that game healthy. Or, Chris Jones obviously chose not to play for contractual issues, but still.
So, like we said, next up is not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks at Ford Field. Place is going to be extremely loud, as you can imagine. But it's not the only football we're talking about. We also have both Michigan and Michigan State playing tomorrow, both against teams with not the greatest track record against Big Ten teams. Michigan State is hosting
Teams in general.
Richmond Spiders. What do you think about that one?
Well, they're playing an FCS team, so Michigan's playing still a team within the FBS. UNLV, who former Michigan State Spartan Ricky White is now on that team. Of course, he had that huge game against Michigan during the COVID season in Ann Arbor, so now he's suiting up against Michigan back in the big house, now in a different jersey. Although I don't expect the score to be all that competitive. But with Richmond, this was a team who was been a consistent playoff team in the FCS last year, a tough year, and then coming off a tough Week 1 loss, so Michigan State should roll in that game. You'd expect, same deal with Michigan, and they're just going to be superior in basically every facet.
All right. And then tonight it is Friday Night Frenzy.
Yep.
You are going to be live from Langsburg as they host Pewamo, Westphalia. We're going to have that at 5:30, I believe.
5:30, yep.
What other games should we be keeping an eye out for later tonight?
It's not the juiciest slate of games tonight. Sexton hosts Olivet, and they're looking to go 3-0 for the first time since 2017, so they're off to a nice start.
Nice.
Outside of that, we don't have any too
It's still early.
eye-popping off the Grand Ledge at Holt.
Grand Ledge
Yes.
Holt would be a good.
Although
David's excited.
It's the battle for the Jack Trophy. Holt won it last year, so Grand Ledge will try to take it back. They're kind of the most quiet 2-0 team in the area. They're playing pretty good football, so. But yeah, this week, not the juiciest slate, but I'm sure, as I say that, we'll have some shocking results by the end of the night.
All right. Well, don't forget, you can see Joey at 5:30 reporting live from Langsburg as they get ready to host Pewamo, Westphalia. We're going to have more highlights from all of the high school games later on today. And, of course, over the weekend with Michigan and Michigan State. I will let you go and get packed up. And we will see everybody else later. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend.